Hi, welcome to the first ever episode of the Worldwide Sampler. I'm your host Win, and today we're kicking off our journey in Geneva, Switzerland. So today, we are here to celebrate the city of Geneva for what it really is. And while it may be true that so many international organizations bring with them traffic and high prices, I believe that it's all personally worth it because Geneva is such a wonderful city. And today I'm going to celebrate by making one of their traditional recipes, cheese fondue. Now when I make a fondue, I like to imagine it not as a melting pot for this lovely cheese, but also for a metaphor for life. All the ingredients that go into a fondue have to work together in harmony. From the garlic that makes the foundation on the pot, to the ground nutmeg that finishes it off. This is also true for the city of Geneva. So many great and independent organizations and people come together from all over the world to make the city what it is today. From the foundations of the post-World War II League of Nations, the garlic, to the many new and great organizations moving there and being created there today, the nutmeg. Now to make my fondue, you only need 7 ingredients. Half a pound of a good Swiss cheese. Half a pound of a Gruyere cheese. 1 cup of a dry white wine. Here I'm using a cooking wine. 2 wedges of Laughing Cow Swiss cheese. 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. 1 pinch of ground nutmeg. And 1 clove of garlic. You start the cooking process by taking your clove of garlic and cutting it in half. From then you proceed to rub the entire bottom of the pan with the clove of garlic. You want to make sure you get all the walls and the entire bottom covered. And even feel free to switch cloves when one starts getting dry. The garlic creates a good foundation for all the flavors to build on, along with embedding the entire fondue with a nice hint of roasted garlic. Once you get that done, let's move on over to the stove. Turn your stove to a medium heat. Next, add your wine to your saucepan. Now the acid in this wine is what keeps the cheese from clumping together later in the process. I think this could represent the Genevan government. They keep a watchful eye over all the people and organizations to make sure things don't go too awry. Now let the wine heat up until it's just simmering. That's when you know you're ready to add the cheese. Now once you start seeing small bubbles, you know the wine is simmering, so you're ready to add the cheese. Here we have the Gruyere, and here's the Swiss. I'm going to save just a bit in case it gets too thin later on. Now, you want to stir all this to combine until everything's melted. Now the key thing about stirring a cheese fondue is to not stir it in a circular motion, because then that will cause the cheese to clump. You want to stir in an alternating zigzag motion back and forth, following by folding everything in. Now, I think that the cheese, in my mind at least, represents the people of Geneva, the citizens. They take up the bulk of the room, and really without the cheese you wouldn't even have a fondue. Keep stirring till everything is smooth and creamy. Now if you've been stirring a few minutes and it still seems kind of thin, go ahead and add the rest of the Swiss that we saved. Now once everything seems nice and smooth, now's when you add the finishing touches. For my fondue, as I mentioned earlier, I like a little Dijon mustard and ground nutmeg. Keep stirring until it's all combined. And there we have it, traditional Swiss cheese fondue. Now, it's so simple yet strangely elegant. Oftentimes it's viewed as a dish just for the upper class, much like the city of Geneva. You have no idea how many times I've heard that Geneva is just too expensive for the average Joe the plumber to live there. Yet fondue, much like the city of Geneva, is something that everyone can enjoy. You see, I've chosen here to pair mine with a sourdough baguette and crisp green apple. I think these two things can represent how they're so different, yet both pair excellently with fondue. I think they represent how so many different people can come to Geneva and still work together and make it one of the best cities in the world today. And with that being said, that's all the time we have. Again, I'm your host, Win, and I'll see you next time on the Worldwide Sampler.